In the beginning, there were two brothers, Edward and Alex, and they formed a band, and that band was called Mammoth. And they gigged in clubs around LA, and it was good. Then in 1973, they asked a hyperactive singer named David Lee Roth to join the band. And he did, and it was good. Well, not at first.
It's like no club would hire us because we were either too young or we played too hard rock and roll. Okay, so we auditioned at this place once, and, you know, we're playing our own music, and they go, hey, you know, you gotta play top 40. You gotta play the hits. It's like, no matter what we tried, every time the guy would tell us, you gotta do this, man, if you want a gig here, we'd try it, we'd come back, work it up, and the guy would go, no, the times have changed, you gotta do this now.
What we do is, you know, they're playing like a lot of the cover songs and then sneaking in original material to like after the first, second set when everybody kind of loosen up.
1976, the band, now called Van Halen, plays a gig at LA's Starwood Club. One of the 20 people in the audience that night is a fire-breathing, blood-spitting bass player named Gene Simmons.
He walked up next to me and I'm like, oh, hi, Dad. Here I am, 5'6", and he's got his 12-inch platforms on, like.
I'll never forget the first thing my brother asked him was, how do you go to the bathroom? Gene shows up and he goes, you guys have a record deal? Do you have a manager? We're going, no. What's a manager? What's a record deal?
I found Van Halen playing at a club in Los Angeles, flew them to New York, and produced about 15 songs, the tape of which I still have. And then within 6 months of that, they got signed to Warner's and everything was fine.
Do that in my sleep, man. By the time you see it, man, it feels like with music so thin, you feel like you're wearing nothing at all. I picture myself as the ringleader here, you know, I feel like I'm Toastmaster General of the immoral majority, you know? Our motto is, shut up.
Like it or not, Dave's attitude, combined with Eddie's blistering guitar riffs, left a powerful impact on music.
My first impression of Van Halen was that David Lee Roth was a god and that so was Eddie.
Van Halen were amazing, but they showed you that you could be technically proficient and energetic and showy all in one. Along comes Eddie Van Halen, smiling, sliding, spinning, flying, and reinventing the guitar.
Well, at the time, I mean, this finger tapping, nobody was really doing it, and then everybody started doing it, and it became, but Eddie kind of put that on the map, didn't he?
Van Halen represents, to me, purists in the realm of rock.
And that was some of the most genius hard rock. Talk about the sound, the tunes, and the show. It's a 10. It was a stellar production, as David Lee would say.
Hi. Take the television. Place it against your body. Feel the sound of my voice. I'm Diamond David Lee Roth.
Selling a truckload of records was nothing new for Van Halen, but this time they backed up their massively popular music with 3 vibrant, explosive, and, well, zany videos that poked the MTV generation right between the eyes.
This is also one of the great 80s videos that partakes of the heavy metal logic that says, I am in a rock band. I do not have to have a day job, and I will celebrate this fact by wearing clothes that are mostly made of brightly colored tatters.
I was the one who directed and created all the classic Van Halen videos, you know, Hot for Teacher, I Can Jump Panama, and so forth.
The winner is Eddie Michael Van Halen Roth Van Halen Jump.
And I tell you, when Van Halen started all this stuff, you know, we had no idea where we were going and no idea whatsoever how it would all just snowball.
By the mid-'80s, Van Halen was one of the biggest bands in the world. They sold millions of albums, they toured the world several times over, their singer made the cover of Rolling Stone, and every high school stoner in America had the VH symbol scrawled on the front of their science notebook.
Well, East Coast girls are in, I really dig those styles they wear. And the Southern girls with the way they talk, they knock me out when I'm down there.
People say, Dave, how come you only chose to do 4 songs? And I told them before, I says, look, any record that you're gonna go buy is only gonna have 3 or 4 good cuts on it to begin with, right? So all I did is trim off the flab and sell it to you for less. Did I leave Van Halen, or did they ask me to leave? I think that all depends basically on which magazine, which interview with Edward Van Halen that you're reading at the time. At one point, it sounded good to him to say that they had fired me and that they had thrown me out of the band because they had wanted somebody else to sing at any time. The audience didn't buy that one so good, so a few issues later, we read that Dave, because of his huge ego, he split of his own.
He treated everybody like a little lower than him, including us in the band. And, you know, that's not the way a band works. Here, we've worked with a guy for 11 years, so to speak, and he just kind of like took off.
I think there's a lot of dishonesty going on there, and that's a big part of the reason that I left Van Halen.
In a funny way, it worked out for the better.
Life goes on without me, 'cause I ain't got nobody. I have bitchin' memories of everything that happened in Van Halen when I was in the band, leading up to right about the last 3 months of our existence together. And then, it wasn't so wonderful. So I bailed in true American fashion. There's nobody who can take my place in that band. There may be 1 or 2 who will try and make the effort, just as there will always be champions, there will always only be one Ali. I'm the fun in Van Halen. I always will be the fun in Van Halen. Sit down, Waldo. And I am. You know, in terms of even thinking that somebody else might actually be able to take the place there, you know, you're welcome to keep trying.
Is it official with the group now?